Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football here on the Sports History Network. Aside from my podcasting duties, I'm also a sports collector. And as such, I'm very pleased to share the exciting news that the Sports History Network has partnered with Rochester Sports Autographs, the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor in the United States, where you can get deals on over 30,000 autographed sports collectibles. So as a collector, I was very pleased when I visited the site of Rochester Sports Autographs. The massive inventory is easy to search, carefully documented, and visually appealing. The options seem limitless, whether you're looking for an autographed baseball, signed football helmets, or basketball jerseys, among thousands of others. I found everything from a Babe Ruth autograph, a signed football by Dick Butkus, and an autographed Larry Bird basketball jersey. And as a collector, you'll be delighted with the very competitive pricing on JSA authenticated products. Made possible since RSA deals directly with athletes, so there's no extra markup, and the savings are passed on directly to the customer. Perhaps you're looking for an early gift for Mother's Day or Father's Day. Heck, who needs a holiday as an excuse to give a piece of sports history to your loved ones? Or how about yourself? Today seems like a great day to add to your own sports collection, right? RSA even has film, music, and other entertainment autographs on the site, so there's something for everyone. All orders from Rochester Sports Autographs are top quality and shipped to your door with top authentication and a money-back guarantee. And to make sure RSA knows that the Sports History Network sent you, we created a special link for you. All you need to do is head to shoprsa.com/SHN. That's shoprsa.com/SHN to get your own piece of sports history today.
Now it's time to take a sports break, a look at sports history on a daily basis. Hello, my friends of sports history. This is Darren Hayes of the Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your place for all things great in sports history, and welcome to this sports break for April 29th, as we will talk about the events of the day in history that happened on April 29th. And we're going to talk about some great Hall of Fame birthdays, as well as some other people that pertain to this date. And we'll visit all around the web like we normally do. But before we do, let's make sure you know how to get a hold of us. We'd love to have communications with you. You can email us, pigskindispatch@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at Pigskin Dispatch, and Facebook, we have the Pigskin Dispatch page. We'd love to hear from you. You can email, you can hit us up on the DMs on Twitter or Facebook. Hey, we'd love to hear and love to have your feedback. Now, let's get into this April 29th history. And we'll start off on Pigskin Dispatch with football history for the day. And on April 29, 1927, a man named John T. Riddell and his fledgling new company, the Riddell Company, developed the first football cleat. Now, according to the blog of EdisonNation.com's website, John Riddell taught mathematics, also serving as the head football coach and athletic director at Evanston Township High School in Evanston, Illinois, for the years 1913 through 1927. It's at this time that Riddell invented and developed a removable cleat right around the year 1922. During that era, football shoes were equipped with leather cleats nailed to the sole of the shoe, so changing the cleats due to inclement weather required the services of a cobbler to install longer tangs. Unfortunately, because Northwestern University used the same shoe as Evanston Township High School, Riddell's team football shoes were often not ready by game time. They saved the manufacturing for the big boys at the college level. Now, Riddell knew this idea would solve the problem for the masses, but lacking the needed funding to produce such a new product himself, Riddell had his shoes manufactured by the J.P. Smith Shoe Company, and he and his wife installed the posts and cleats in the evenings. John continued to teach, coach, and produce his shoes until this 1927 day, when, with the popularity of his shoes on an upward trend, he left his teaching job, therefore devoting his entire effort to producing the shoes. The John T. Riddell Company Incorporated was formally announced on February of 1929, and their aim was to create sporting goods that were innovative and provided protection and gave the best performance to athletes. it still stands today, making many of the items that you see football players wearing, including many helmets and other shoulder pads and other devices still shown today. Now, there has been some other great football history in this April the 29th date. And we look back, and in April 29th, 1980, the Detroit Lions made Oklahoma running back Billy Sims the first overall pick in the 1980 draft. He was a 1978 Heisman Trophy winner and was anointed as the big fish in this pre-draft class. And Sims indeed was a very good player for the Lions. Fortunately, some injuries shortened his career. But we have a great post on this as our football history headline of the day, Pigskin Dispatch, with some more details. Also, on this day, 1981, the South Carolina running back George Rogers became the first pick by the New Orleans Saints in a 1981 draft. Now, Rogers also won a Heisman Trophy for his outstanding All-American 1980 season with the Gamecocks of South Carolina. And he also went into the pros. Maybe didn't have the career he intended, but still a very good player indeed. Also, some Hall of Famers that came out of this draft were Lawrence Taylor, was the second overall selection by the Giants. Kenny Easley, number 4 by Seattle. Ronnie Lott was the 8th pick by the 49ers. And Mike Singletary with the Bears. Howie Long was scooped up by the Raiders. And Ricky Jackson of New Orleans Saints became a very good linebacker there. And Russ Grimm joined the Hogs of Washington when he was a 69th overall selection. Another draft, 1986, 5 years later, started off with Auburn running back Bo Jackson becoming the first pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he, again, has a great story that we have all covered on Pigskin Dispatch. We'll let you read about that. A couple decades after that, we had the 2006 NFL Draft on this date. Mario Williams, the brilliant defensive end of North Carolina State, was the first pick in the 2006 draft, and he was followed by Reggie Bush, Vince Young, and Drabikajaw Ferguson, with A.J. Hawk of Green Bay going to Green Bay from Ohio State, rounding out the top 5. Now, we also had the 2021 draft. It was held in Cleveland, Ohio on a rainy day, and Trevor Lawrence of Clemson was the very first pick in that draft. Now, Hall of Fame birthdays from the football world. In 1914, in Jacksboro, Texas, the fine TCU center. From 1933 to 1935, Darrell Lester was born. He had a tremendous career with Texas Christian and ended up going into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1988 and played a couple seasons with the Green Bay Packers until a shoulder injury set him back. In 1918, Detroit, Michigan, the wheeling and dealing ball coach that once attended Alma College, Marquette University, University of Michigan, George Allen was born. Now, George had stints as the head man for the Los Angeles Rams and the Washington Redskins. He had an impressive 12 seasons in the league as his teams posted a 118, 54, and 5 record. And boy, did he love to bring in veterans to play on his teams. George Allen, born in 1918, April 29th. So those are some great birthdays that we had from the football realm. Now, there are also some birthdays from other sports, Hall of Famers. How about Louis Aparicio? He was born April 29, 1934, in Marciabo, Venezuela. He was a Baseball Hall of Fame shortstop. He played in the MLB from 1956 to 1973 for 3 American League teams, most prominently the Chicago White Sox, but also the Baltimore Royals from 63 to 67, and the Boston Red Sox from 71 to 73 as well. Well, speaking of baseball and baseball history, let's go to April 29th, 1892, and Charlie Riley of the Philadelphia Phillies becomes Major League Baseball's first pinch hitter. Riley is also famous for another baseball accomplishment, as he was the first of 2 players to have 4 hits that included at least 1 home run, as he hit 2 in their first Major League game. In 1918, on the 29th of April, the future Hall of Fame center fielder of the Boston Red Sox, Tris Speaker, tied a career outfield record of 4 unassisted double plays. And in 1931, Cleveland Indians pitcher Wes Farrell, number 14, tossed a no-hit shutout against the St. Louis Browns for a 9-0 win. And Farrell had a brilliant 15-year career with the various teams in the AL and was invited as an all-star twice during his career. In 1953, on April 29th, Milwaukee Braves' Joe Attic, who wore number 9, is the first ever player to drive a home run into Polo Grounds center field bleachers. That's quite a shot from what I understand, and that ballpark. And we have more baseball, as we love to go to some of these great sites, and one of them is This Day in Baseball. We get a lot of inspiration from them that we love to share with you, and they have dozens of items each and every day during the baseball season of some great history. And one was kind of interesting that I found from April 29th, 1913. And it says, wearing White Sox uniforms, the Reds are defeated by the Cubs 7-2 at Chicago's West Side Park. Now, you see, Cincinnati had forgot to pack uniforms on this road trip and had to don those worn by their opponents' crosstown rivals, the White Sox, who were kind enough to let them put on their duds for that day. Kind of interesting. Fits right into jerseys. Also, 1922, the New York Giants hit 4 inside the park home runs at the Braves field. George Kelly hits a pair, and Ross Youngs and Dave Bancroft both hit one apiece as the Giants defeat and win the game 12-3, and they beat the Braves that day. We have the Pirates and the Phillies in 1934 become the last two major league franchises allowed to play home games on Sundays when the Bucks beat Cincinnati 9-5 at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, along with the Phillies dropping an 8-7 decision in Brooklyn at Philadelphia's Baker Bowl. Games on the Lord's Day are no longer prohibited in Pennsylvania because the state modified their blue laws. Legislation which formerly prevented such events are now abolished. And we know that the NFL was allowed to put professional football teams 1933 season, so it all makes sense. The blue laws were lifted for all sports in the state of Pennsylvania back then. So there's plenty more to look at for this April 29th on thisdayinbaseball.com. You make sure you look at their days and support that site because they have some great stuff there. Another one that we love to go to is our friend Jay Daniel and his 80sbaseball.com. And boys, he's got some good stuff there from the 1980s and the MLB. Now, one thing he has is he loves to call out the birthdays of 1980s players, but he also has some big days for some great players. And on April 29, 1980, the Brewers hit 7 home runs in a 14-1 win over the Cleveland Indians. Ben Ogilvie and Sal Bando each hit 2, and Larry Hissel, Sixto Lizarano, and Paul Molitor each had 1 dinger over the wall. Now, on the 29th of April, 1981, it was Steve Carlton became the first left-handed pitcher to record 3,000 strikeouts. And what a pitcher he was. That is Jay Daniels, 80sbaseball.com. Make sure you check him out. Give him some support and love, too. And our third stop on a day is NBA.com. We have a couple great basketball items from professional basketball. And, they have a bunch in there, but we love these two because there's some great Hall of Famers in this. How about April 29th, 1970, the Los Angeles Lakers guard Jerry West hit a 60-foot desperation shot at the buzzer to tie Game 3 of the NBA Finals against the New York Knicks. In overtime, however, the Lakers scored only 6 points, lost the game 111-108. In April 29th, 2011, behind by 31 points, an 11-rebound game from Zach Randolph, the Memphis Grizzlies defeated the San Antonio Spurs 99-91 in Game 6 of their first-round series. And with the victory, Memphis ousted the number 1 seeded Spurs, marking the first time a number 1 seed lost in the first round since the 1999 playoffs. And that's your sports history for today. We thank you for joining us. We hope you join us each and every day for some more great sports history and birthdays of Hall of Famers. Until next time, everybody, have a great sports history day. Sorry, but my pitching coach just called timeout and he's coming out to the mound. I think I'm going to get yanked for a reliever. We'll see you back tomorrow for some more great sports history on Sports Jersey Dispatch Podcast. We invite you to check out our websites, jerseydispatch.com and pigskindispatch.com. Not only see the daily sports history, but to experience the preservation of great events and people that play the games. Find us on Pigskin Dispatch. It's also on social media outlets on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all your daily sports history. Pigskin Dispatch is happy to be associated with the Sports History Network, the sports headquarters of yesteryear, found at sportshistorynetwork.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football, here on the Sports History Network. I'm very pleased to announce that I will be partnering with the Sports History Network to give away 2 copies of my latest book called Bears vs. Cardinals, the NFL's Oldest Rivalry. To enter, just head over to the following link, sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. We hope you'll enjoy the numerous stories in the book, which is largely based on the newly released Dutch Tournament collection at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Dutch was the co-owner of the early Chicago Bears with George Halas and kept correspondence, financial records, and scouting reports, which now allow us to peek into the management of an NFL club during the first few years of the league's existence. Along the way, we'll meet unusual gridiron characters from years gone by, including a quarterback who could throw the ball farther behind his back than he could throwing it forward, a Bears lineman who was such a good tavern fighter that he decided to enter the boxing universe, and a Cardinals halfback who gave up the NFL rushing title by deciding to not show up for his team's final game of the season. And can we forget the time the Al Capone mob interrupted a Bears-Cardinals game? The new book was fun to research, and I hope you will enter our free contest today. Once the winners are selected, we'll be in touch regarding shipping as well as to inscribe the book personally for you. This might make a perfect gift for Mother's or Father's Day, or simply add it to your own personal collection. Once again, enter by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. Thank you and good luck.